What would you say if a cop asked to search your car right now? Your answer can decide whether you drive home or end up in cuffs. And the easiest way to lose your rights is to be polite in the wrong way. Before I give you the exact 4 words, hit subscribe right now so you can find this video again when a real stop happens. Smash like 2, because when your heart is racing on the side of the road, you will want this burned into your brain. The 4 words are simple: I do not consent. But you need more than just those 4 words. You need the calm voice, the right timing, and the follow-up lines that keep you from talking yourself into a search. Here's the reality. A lot of car searches do not start with some big legal move. They start with a friendly question. You do not mind if I take a quick look, right? That one little moment is where people give everything away. I have analyzed over 200 body cam videos, and the pattern is always the same. People try to seem cooperative, they laugh, they explain too much, they say yes because they feel trapped. Then the stop turns into a full search. Let me show you exactly what to say, when to say it, why it works, and the biggest mistake that makes officers push harder. I'm also going to show you when these words help, when they do not, and the court rulings that back all this up. Now let us talk about why this matters so much for you. Most people have no idea how fast a normal stop can turn into a fishing trip. You get pulled over for a light, a lane change, or a rolling stop. The officer gets your license. Then the questions start. Where are you coming from? Where are you going? Is there anything illegal in the car? You think you are helping by chatting. But every extra word gives them more to work with. If your voice shakes, they note it. If your story sounds messy, they note it. If you joke, nothing you need to know about, they note that too. Here's the trick they do not want you knowing. The easiest search for them is the one you approve yourself. Listen closely because this is critical. These 4 words are not magic. If police already have probable cause or some other legal exception, they may still search. But your refusal blocks the easiest path of all, which is your own consent. That matters more than you think. So when the officer asks to search, your first move is simple and clean. You look at the officer and say this: Officer, I do not consent to any searches. Word for word. Memorize that line. If you want the short version from the title, the core is this: I do not consent. Those 4 words are the shield. The full sentence is better because it sounds calm and clear. Why does that line work? Because consent is one of the biggest doors into your car. If you open that door, you make their job easy. If you close it, they need some other legal reason. This is 100% legal. You do not have to volunteer your car, your bags, your trunk, or your backpack just because an officer asked nicely. You are not being rude. You are using your rights. And this part matters a lot. Your tone changes everything. Do not shout it. Do not smirk. Do not add a speech about the Constitution. Just say it once, clearly, like you are ordering lunch. Calm wins, clean wins, short wins. Defense attorneys use this exact line in court. Why? Because there is no confusion. There is no maybe. There is no, I guess that is fine. There is only a clear no. Bad way. Most drivers say, I do not have anything, so sure. Then the bad outcome happens. The officer can start checking places you never expected, and later you cannot pretend you never agreed. Good way. Smart drivers say, Officer, I do not consent to any searches. Then the good outcome happens. The officer now has to rely on some real legal reason, not your permission. Watch what happens when someone says yes by mistake. The search often gets bigger than they imagined. If you agree to a vehicle search, courts have said that permission can reach containers inside the car too. That came up in a Supreme Court case called Florida versus Jimeno. Plain English. The driver said yes to a car search, and the court said the officer could reasonably look inside a container that could hold drugs. That is why your first no matters so much. Legal experts agree this is your strongest protection. Here is the reality. A lot of drivers think refusing makes them look guilty, that fear gets used against you. But guilt is not the standard. Consent is consent. If you hand it over, you hand it over. If you refuse, you force the next move onto the officer. That is where many bad searches slow down or stop. Former police officers have confirmed this works because they know how often people search themselves with their own mouths. Also, do not fill the silence after you refuse. No, but you can look in the back seat. No, just not my bag. No, I am okay with the trunk, but not the glove box. Partial permission creates a mess, and messy words help the other side. Your line is the line. Officer, I do not consent to any searches. Then stop talking. Have you ever been asked this during a traffic stop? Drop a comment below and tell me if you think you could say that line calmly when the pressure hits. Now let us go to the next line you need, because refusing consent is step 1, not the whole game. After the documents, after the warning or ticket, after the basic reason for the stop is done, you ask this: am I being detained, or am I free to leave? Those exact words. Say them calm, say them once, then be quiet. This line matters because a lot of stops drag on after they should be over. You think you're still stuck there forever, so you keep standing around answering questions. That extra time is where more trouble shows up, more questions, more pressure, maybe a dog, maybe another officer, maybe just one more thing. Your job is to force clarity. Are you being legally held, or are you free to go? This is 100% legal. You are not arguing. You are not running the stop. You are asking a basic question about your status. If the officer says you are free to leave, you leave. If the officer says you are being detained, then at least the stop is now on record as a detention, not some fake casual chat you felt forced to join. Bad way. Most drivers say, I guess I will just wait here if that is okay. Then the bad outcome happens. The stop stretches longer, the officer keeps fishing, and your own patience becomes permission for more contact. Good way. Smart drivers say, am I being detained or am I free to leave? Then the good outcome happens. The officer has to either end the stop or own the fact that they are holding you. This comes straight from Supreme Court rulings. In Rodriguez v. United States, the court said police cannot extend a completed traffic stop just to do things unrelated to the reason for the stop, like a dog sniff, unless they have more legal reason to keep you there. Plain English, once the traffic mission is done, they do not get extra time just because they feel curious. That case is huge for you. Let me show you exactly how this plays out. The officer gives you a warning. Then he says, hang tight for a second. Mind if I ask a few more questions? You do not have to start chatting like you're stuck at a family dinner. You can ask, am I being detained or am I free to leave? If he says free to go, you leave. If he keeps you anyway, now the record matters later. That can be the difference between a clean stop and a challenge in court. And please hear this part. Do not ask this line too early in a rude way. If the officer is still writing your ticket or checking your ID, wait. Use it when the traffic part seems done and the stop starts turning into something else. Timing matters, calm matters, your words matter. Also, if you are a passenger, this line can matter for you too. If they are done with you, you can ask if you are free to leave. A lot of people stay in the blast zone because nobody told them they could ask. And when people stay, people keep talking. And when people keep talking, bad things happen. Still watching? Good. Drop a like if this is already blowing your mind. Because the next move is where most drivers ruin their own refusal. Here's the third move, and it may save you from turning a bad stop into an arrest. If the officer ignores your refusal and starts searching anyway, you say this, Officer, I do not consent, but I will not resist. Say that exactly. That line protects you in two ways at once. First, it repeats your no. Second, it keeps you from doing something dumb on the roadside, something that turns into resisting, obstruction, or a worse charge. A lot of people think rights mean physical standoffs. That is not how you win. You do not grab the door. You do not pull your bag back. You do not step between the officer and your trunk. You keep your hands visible. You keep your voice low. You let the search happen. Then you fight it later, where it actually counts. Watch what happens when someone turns a search into a roadside argument. What started as one legal issue suddenly becomes two or three. Now the officer says, you were aggressive. Now the report says, you interfered. Now the jury hears about your attitude instead of the search itself. That is a trap. Bad way. Most drivers say, you cannot do that. Get out of my car, and then they start reaching or blocking. Then the bad outcome happens. They get pulled out, cuffed, and now the search fight is buried under a new charge. Good way. Smart drivers say, Officer, I do not consent, but I will not resist. Then the good outcome happens. Your refusal stays clear, your behavior stays clean. This matters because not every arrest allows a full vehicle search. In Arizona v. Gant, the Supreme Court said, police do not automatically get to search a car. In plain English, if you are secured and cannot reach the car, the automatic search rule is much smaller. Another case, Knowles v. Iowa, said getting a ticket alone does not automatically open your car. If an officer searches anyway, your job is to preserve the issue. The courtroom is where the rules get tested. 90% of drivers do not know what is coming next. Stay with me. Now let us add the fourth move. If the stop turns into questions about weapons or cash, you say this, Officer, I'm invoking my right to remain silent. Why does this matter? Because officers sometimes get probable cause from what you say. Honesty does not mean self-destruction. Use your right to stay quiet early. I have seen people sink themselves because they thought honesty meant oversharing. Florida v. Jimeno, Rodriguez v. United States, Arizona v. Gant, and Knowles v. Iowa are the legal backbone. These cases show where your rights live, and they show why your words matter so much. That is the whole game. You do not win by being louder. You win by being cleaner. Next week, I'm revealing what to say when cops claim they smell weed. Subscribe right now because that excuse gets used all the time. Smash that like button. Stay safe out there.